The city never sleeps. Lights flicker across glass towers, and every corner hums with urgency. Deals are made in whispers, fortunes rise and fall with the blink of an eye. And one wrong move can change everything. In the world of finance, pressure isn't a warning, it's a constant, crushing weight. And for those in the heart of the trading floor, every decision is a gamble where loyalty, trust, and ambition collide. Tonight, the stakes are higher than ever. Alliances will break, secrets will surface, and the question looms over every hand that types, every deal that closes. Who will survive and who will fall? The morning begins like any other in the heart of the financial district, but nothing is normal anymore. Outside, the streets are alive with the steady rush of commuters, their footsteps echoing on wet pavement as taxis weave through the rain-slicked roads inside the towering office buildings. The atmosphere is tense and electric. Phones ring relentlessly. The screens of computers flicker with numbers, charts, and flashing alerts. And the soft hum of printers fills the background. Coffee machines hiss and sputter as if keeping pace with the rapid rhythm of the day. Even before anyone speaks, the pressure is palpable, pressing down on everyone who dares to enter this world. Every movement is calculated, every glance measured. Because here, appearances matter as much as actions. Papers shuffle across desks, contracts slide into folders, and the faint scratch of pens writing under fluorescent lights is a reminder that nothing happens without someone making it happen. Fingers drum impatiently on keyboards, screens blink. With urgent notifications and whispered conversations carry the weight of promises that can't be broken. Every desk tells a story, cups half full, notebooks scrawled with numbers, sticky notes that hold the faint scent of past negotiations. The tension is not just in the air, it lives in the very walls. Vibrating through the glass, the concrete, the polished floors, and yet, despite the chaos, everyone moves with purpose. Each step, each motion is part of a larger game, a puzzle of power, ambition, and survival. In the shadows of the trading floor, alliances are formed in silence, deals are whispered across corners, and eyes meet with unspoken understanding. Even the smallest gesture, a nod, a shift in posture can carry the weight of trust or the seed of betrayal. The stakes are more than numbers on a screen. They are reputations, futures, and lives entwined in a web of competition so intricate that one misstep could unravel everything. And while the office appears calm from the outside, the heartbeat inside is quick, erratic, and relentless. This is where ambition meets reality, with a young and hungry fight to prove themselves, and where every calculated risk can lead to triumph or disaster. The tension doesn't come from chaos alone, it comes from knowing that someone, somewhere, is watching, waiting, and ready to capitalize on the slightest error. Conversations that seem casual are laced with subtext. Decisions that seem small can have massive consequences, and a single glance can ignite conflict or cement loyalty. The floors, polished to a mirror sheen, reflect not just the bodies that walk upon them, but the pressure that shadows every movement. Cups are knocked over in haste, pens fall from tense hands, and screens blink warnings that demand attention. In this world, nothing is accidental, and every reaction is amplified. The players are both predators and prey, aware that the game is as much about perception as it is about action. And beneath it all, the current of ambition runs strong. It flows through the corridors, threads through whispered agreements, and pulses in the veins of those daring enough to reach for power. As the day unfolds, every action, every choice, is a step along a precarious path. Alliances will be tested, rivalries exposed, and loyalties weighed in the balance. In the world of industry, nothing is simple, nothing is safe, and the smallest spark can ignite a firestorm that spreads faster than anyone anticipates. And as the tension rises, one truth becomes clear. In this game, only the sharpest, fastest, and most cunning will survive. Everyone else will watch as the world moves forward without them. Every move, every second matters. The office feels smaller as the day moves forward, but the weight of expectation only grows. Light filters through towering windows, casting long shadows that stretch across polished floors and rows of desks. Screens flash relentlessly, displaying numbers that climb and fall like tides, each fluctuation carrying consequences that no one dares ignore. Fingers hover over keyboards, hesitating for the briefest moment, knowing that a single keystroke could shift the balance of power in a room, a department, or an entire deal. Papers are stacked with meticulous care. Yet the slightest tremor from a hand betrays the nervous energy that courses through the air. Coffee cups sit forgotten, cold, or tipped slightly on their sides, a silent testament to the unyielding pace that leaves little time for thought, rest, or error. Phones ring and vibrate, their sharp tones cutting through conversations that never truly end, each one demanding attention, strategy, and a quick response. The voices that echo through the corridors are hushed but urgent, speaking in careful sentences that hide more than they reveal, as if every word could be weaponized. Even the clatter of footsteps on marble seems amplified, like a countdown marking the passage of time, the approach of deadlines that are both arbitrary and absolute. Shadows move across desks as figures lean into screens, adjusting charts, reviewing portfolios, and calculating risks with precision that borders on obsession. The smallest mistakes are magnified here. A misread number, a missed call, or a delayed response could undo weeks of preparation in an instant. Hands tighten around pens, twist rings, or drum nervously, a subtle choreography of tension that only insiders recognize. Every glance exchanged across the room carries unspoken questions. Who is watching? Who is plotting? Who will be the first to crack under pressure? The tension is not loud, it doesn't announce itself, but it is omnipresent, felt in every heartbeat, every breath, every movement that fills the office. Screens glow with charts that fluctuate like stormy seas, notifications ping with relentless insistence, and emails accumulate in a silent pile that seems to grow by the second. No one can afford to pause. To hesitate is to risk falling behind. Outside, the city continues its chaotic rhythm, oblivious to the battles waged within glass walls. Taxis screech around corners, footsteps echo on sidewalks, and the hum of traffic blends with the muted roar of construction cranes. Yet inside, the soundscape is sharper, more deliberate. The tension is punctuated by the clink of cups, the shuffle of paper, the quiet sighs of exhausted but determined participants in this high-stakes game. Each movement is measured, each decision calculated. Yet the unpredictability of human ambition and error hangs like a cloud over every desk. Some glance at clocks that seem to tick faster than normal, measuring moments in fractions of anxiety, while others scan screens, tracing the lines of graphs that rise and fall with a heartbeat of their own. Alliances form in silence, agreements are made in code, and rivalries simmer just below the surface, ready to erupt at the slightest provocation. The human element is as crucial as the numbers. Hands shake slightly when signing documents, eyes flick nervously toward doors or monitors, and even a casual shift in posture can communicate fear, determination, or deceit. The air is heavy, charged with the unspoken pressures of ambition and consequence. Everyone knows that a single wrong move could unravel not just a deal, but a reputation, a career, a future. Yet despite the intensity, the players move with grace and precision, each step deliberate, each choice weighed against countless possible outcomes. The energy is contagious. It pulses through the room, through the corridors, into the very foundation of the building itself. Mistakes are invisible. Until they aren't, loyalties are tested quietly, subtly, and alliances hinge on trust that is as fragile as glass. Even the smallest flicker of hesitation can set off a chain reaction, disrupting the delicate balance of strategy, ambition, and survival. Every desk, every office, every screen tells a story of ambition and risk. The atmosphere is taut, a living organism of pressure, intensity, and expectation. Contracts slide silently across polished surfaces, emails blink urgently, and decisions are made in seconds, sometimes without certainty, sometimes with calculated audacity. Conversations continue in hushed tones, eyes darting, minds racing to stay ahead of the inevitable. The office is alive with silent battles, with unseen struggles that shape the outcomes of entire careers, fortunes, and lives outside. The city pulses without pause, but inside, every moment is a crucible, forging the futures of those daring enough to compete in the ruthless, unrelenting world of high finance. The stakes are higher than ever, and with each tick of the clock, the pressure mounts, ready to snap those who are unprepared, while propelling the cunning, the bold, and the ambitious to the top. The afternoon brings no relief. The office hums with the constant rhythm of urgency, but the pressure now feels heavier, thicker, almost suffocating. The glow of monitors casts pale light on hands that never stop moving. Fingers flying over keyboards, tracing numbers, drafting emails, adjusting charts, recalculating risks that shift by the second. Every sound is amplified. The clatter of a dropped pen, the subtle scrape of a chair against a floor, the faint vibration of a phone left unanswered just long. Tension is visible in the smallest gestures. A hand clenches a pen too tightly, knuckles whitening, while eyes dart to a screen as if expecting it to explode with the next piece of crucial information. Feet tap impatiently beneath desks, and chairs swivel slightly as if carrying the anticipation of movement before it happens. Each workspace tells a story, sticky notes scribbled with reminders, half-finished charts, open envelopes waiting for signatures. The narrative of ambition and stress unfolds silently in these details, unnoticed by those outside but glaringly obvious to those who navigate these walls daily. Every sound, every movement, and every glance carries meaning. A tap of a finger can signal impatience, a subtle nod can indicate agreement, and a pause can betray hesitation, uncertainty, or a brewing conflict. The dynamics of trust and power are constantly shifting, and every participant knows it. One careless act, one delayed response, or one overlooked detail can set off a chain reaction that no one can fully control. The screens themselves are a battlefield. Graphs fluctuate, numbers jump, and charts spike and fall with the rhythm of decisions made elsewhere, in conference rooms or phone calls that are only partially audible, yet entirely consequential. Data streams in relentless torrents, demanding immediate attention, each notification carrying the weight of potential opportunity or looming disaster. In this environment, multitasking isn't optional, it's survival. Each operator balances risk with speed, intuition with calculation, knowing that hesitation can be as deadly as misjudgment. Eyes flicker from one window to another, tracking markets, contracts, and colleagues' movements simultaneously. The office floor becomes a stage of silent performance, a carefully choreographed dance where timing is everything, and a single misstep can disrupt the delicate balance of influence and control. And yet, amid the relentless pace, strategy is subtle. Alliances are forged in whispered negotiations, rivalries are measured in glances, and power is exercised in quiet decisions that ripple outward in ways few notice until the consequences arrive. Conversations that seem mundane hold layers of meaning, and the weight of intention is carried in the tilt of a head, the shift of a chair, or the brief hesitation before a reply. Those who excel navigate these nuances effortlessly, reading signals that are invisible to outsiders and acting with precision that borders on instinct. But even the most experienced are not immune to pressure. Fatigue gnaws at attention, impatience frays judgment, and the relentless pace of the day exposes weaknesses that could never survive scrutiny. Outside the office, the city moves on without pause, but inside, the tension is concentrated, intensified, and unavoidable. Decisions that once seemed theoretical now have immediate consequences, shaping careers, reputations, and alliances in real time. Each action is scrutinized, each reaction dissected, and every outcome analyzed before it even manifests. The pressure is omnipresent, suffusing the very walls. And in this environment, only those who can control both themselves and the flow of events can hope to thrive. Every screen, every notification, every interaction is a potential turning point. and the smallest miscalculation can tip the scales. The air is electric, alive with ambition, rivalry, and the unrelenting drive to succeed. Each individual operates in a constant state of readiness, mentally running simulations, predicting moves, anticipating risks, and positioning themselves for advantage. Mistakes are inevitable, but the way they are managed, concealed, or exploited defines the hierarchy of power. The office has become a microcosm of ambition itself, relentless, unforgiving, and exacting. Every gesture, every sound, and every glance carries meaning beyond what is spoken aloud. The energy is almost tangible, a living current that threads through the hallways, pulses through the glass walls, and binds each participant to the invisible rules of this high-stakes environment. In this crucible of finance, where ambition and strategy collide, only those who can master both the seen and the unseen will endure, while the rest are left to navigate the fallout of decisions made in the shadows. The tension is absolute, the stakes monumental, and the day is far from over. The afternoon stretches into evening, and the office feels almost alive, humming with an intensity that doesn't relent. Shadows grow longer across the floors, the glow of screens reflecting on polished surfaces like flickering mirrors of ambition. The air is thick, heavy with anticipation and unspoken fears, as if every movement, every sound carries weight far beyond its size. Hands hover over keyboards, pausing for only the briefest moment before decisions are executed with precision, while nearby, phones ring incessantly, their sharp tones cutting through the low murmur of conversations. Emails arrive faster than anyone can respond. Contracts demand attention before they are fully read, and charts spike and dip in real time, sending ripples of urgency through the room. No one dares look away, for in this environment, a second's hesitation can be as costly as a misstep. Even the quiet moments are charged, each pause filled with potential consequences, each glance loaded with speculation, strategy, or subtle warning. The pressure is visible in the smallest details. Coffee cups are tipped slightly, condensation forming rings on polished desks. Pens are tapped against tablet screens in nervous rhythms. Chairs scrape faintly against marble floors, betraying restlessness. Sticky notes curl at the edges, scribbled reminders of deadlines that seem impossibly close. Monitors display numbers that shift like tides, each fluctuation demanding immediate attention, forcing the occupants to react instinctively, yet with the careful calculation that only experience can bring. Every participant moves with deliberate precision, yet the energy is unrelenting, a constant push and pull of ambition, fear, and opportunity. Shadows of colleagues stretch across desks. Hands reach for files and contracts, and the faint hum of printers fills the spaces between the sounds of strategy and execution. In this room, the stakes are never abstract, they are tangible, immediate, and unforgiving. Subtle conflicts simmer beneath the surface, invisible to outsiders but unmistakable to those who operate here. Alliances shift like currents beneath a calm sea, sometimes unnoticed until the surface erupts in unexpected ways. A whispered conversation in a corner carries implications far beyond the words spoken, while a casual glance at a chart can signal understanding, doubt, or dissent. The office is a stage, but one where the actors are both performers and predators, aware of the consequences of every movement. Hands tighten on documents as decisions are made. Eyes flicker with anticipation, and every slight hesitation is observed, recorded, and analyzed by those who know how to exploit weakness. Power is exercised quietly, invisibly, and decisively. Those who succeed here do so not with loud declarations, but with subtle influence, strategic positioning, and the ability to anticipate events before they unfold. Outside, the city continues its relentless rhythm, oblivious to the battles raging within glass walls. Traffic blares, footsteps echo, and neon lights flicker. But inside, time seems suspended, compressed into seconds that carry lifetimes of consequence. The pressure grows with each passing hour. Emails marked urgent, contracts requiring immediate signatures, and reports that must be digested instantly create a relentless cycle of decision and consequence. Every choice matters, every action has repercussions, and every participant is acutely aware that a single misstep could unravel not just a deal, but a career, a reputation, or a carefully constructed alliance. The energy is electric, almost tangible, pulsing through the corridors, through the offices, and through the very bones of the building itself. Even the environment conspires to heighten the intensity. Fluorescent lights flicker occasionally, keyboards clatter, and monitors flash warnings that demand immediate attention. Every sound is amplified, every movement noticed, and every interaction carries potential for disruption or advantage. Subtle. Rivalries are tested with carefully chosen words, alliances are weighed in silence, and strategic maneuvers play out without ever being verbalized. Participants scan screens, shuffle documents, and exchange glances, navigating a labyrinth of ambition, loyalty, and deception. The pace is relentless, the stakes enormous, and the consequences of failure unavoidable. By the time evening approaches, exhaustion and adrenaline collide, creating a tension that is almost tangible. Fingers ache from constant typing, eyes strain from flickering screens, and yet no one slows, no one rests. Every heartbeat feels amplified, every decision critical. Shadows lengthen across desks, mirroring the uncertainty and the stakes. This is a world where strategy and instinct collide, where the invisible battles of loyalty, ambition, and cutting shape outcomes far beyond what is seen. And in this crucible, the unrelenting pressure exposes both weakness and brilliance, forcing each participant to confront their limits, test their resolve, and adapt to a risk being left behind. The office is no longer just a workplace. It has become a battlefield, a proving ground where only the sharpest, fastest, and most perceptive can endure. Every movement matters, every second counts. And the day ends not with relief, but with the knowledge that the game has only just reached its peak.